The socks are coming off on this one.
Welcome to Up at Night. I'm Leonardo.
And I'm Donatello.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. No, you're not.
Do you want me to do that again?
Welcome to Up at Night. I'm Leonardo.
I'm Shakespeare.
Oh, my fucking... Is it so hard? Is it? You're really taking on the character, right? Is that what it is? Hey, guys, we're here to talk about X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay, first off, I want to say this is bullshit. You said we were going to see Ninja Turtles.
You don't want that.
I'm not fucking taking them off. Okay, welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
All right, so we just saw
X-Men.
X-Men Apocalypse. Holy shit.
Where do we start with this? So first of all, spoilers, because it's an X-Men movie. So
first off, we're just going to do spoilers straight from the get-go.
Biggest spoiler, no Deadpool.
Deadpool. What the fuck?
We saw that coming.
We saw that coming. But, like, wouldn't it have been great if that after credit scene was just, like, Wolverine and Deadpool just, like, hanging out or something
at a bar or something, yeah.
Anyway, so we'll start back at the beginning. Like, let's take it right back to the beginning. I mean, the whole thing in Egypt was really cool. Like when they start off and they show
the past,
and like mutant. They show like him, and they show the fact that he's transferring bodies, which is interesting.
Him is Apocalypse.
Yeah, Apocalypse. Sorry, yeah. Or
what's the actor's name?
Oscar Isaac,
who played Poe Dameron in Star Wars.
Yes, he did. Which I like to think is the same character.
You know what?
He went off into space after this movie and joined the Resistance.
He borders. Let's start with him as the villain, because he's kind of a big role in it.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of borders on, he's getting cheesy. Like, you feel him getting cheesy, and then he's cool again.
But you know what the good thing about that is I think you're right. I think he did kind of, like, ride that line. But you know what? X-Men kind of needs that. And I think that's why X-Men, to me, has always kind of been like a great series, most of them at least, but like they ride that line of being kind of cheesy, kind of comic booky, but still being good movies. Especially the last few that they've come out with, like Days of Future Past and X-Men Origins. Those movies have been fucking fantastic.
Not X-Men Origins. X-Men.
What was the other? First Class. Sorry.
First Class.
Not Origins.
That was a shit
great movie. Wolverine Origins. Great movie.
I love when they introduced Deadpool.
Me too. First Class. You knew what I was talking about. And even the first like few X-Men movies were good. Like the first two were good. The third one not so much.
I think this one, as far as being a third in a series, because you have First Class, then you have Days of Future Past. This is very good.
Very good. I think this is. I could probably say. I mean, borderline with. Days of Future Past. This is probably my favorite X-Men movie so far.
It's one of my favorite Marvel movies.
They did a really
we'll get into more of that.
Job. They did a really great job with this movie. Everything was just like it's like the action's really tight. Like it was really fun, and like I liked the characters as they were introducing characters that we've already known before. Like you've got Sansa Stark playing.
Phoenix,
Jean Grey.
Phoenix or Jean.
That was that's an interesting.
Which we'll get to that.
That's an interesting kind of turn that movie took, which I was surprised they jumped right to that. But you know what? They did always talk about the fact that her powers were always there, kind of thing. Now I wonder if it's going to get to the point, like, because this is an alternate timeline now. Like they do point out the fact that this is kind of like an alternate take on the whole series. So I wonder if that's going to lead to them like locking the Phoenix away on her, because the Phoenix does kind of manifest in this movie at the very end, and that's how they take down Apocalypse. But like I wonder if that's going to manifest, or if it's going to, if they continue doing these movies, if they're going to like lock that power away, and then like that's going to be another movie down the line, or like what they're going to do with that. I think the first thing I actually want to talk about though, like I liked the whole the first thing where they show the origin of Apocalypse. And they're showing like his 4 horsemen. I like that it was like they're in Egypt. They've got the pyramids and stuff like that, but then they've got the 4 horsemen, and each one has like a different,
like Anubis.
Like they've got the god like masks on and stuff like that. Like, and that looks so cool. Like, and I like the whole idea that that's where that religion almost spans from. Like they were worshiping him. He was like he said one of the names he went by was Ra.
He references that he goes by different names.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like, and like most of them were names of gods that people worshipped thousands of years ago. So
now his recruitment skills are atrocious.
Yeah, literally as soon as he wakes up and like in the present, and he literally just finds like pretty much the first 4 mutants he rolls across, and he's like, guess what, homies, you're gonna be my new crew. And like
Hey,
but he's like he says specifically, I want the most powerful mutants, and I was like,
he picked a guy that can fly.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think you went with the most powerful ones. I think you literally meant the ones you just literally stumbled across.
If he picked the most powerful, it'd be like Quicksilver, Magneto, which he did luck out and get.
Yeah, he did luck out.
But like Xavier,
Charles, and then pretty much what's her name?
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
those are pretty much all like, what do they call them? Alpha level? No. They had a name for like their Omega level mutants, I think is what they're called. Yeah, Omega level mutants or something.
Now, remembering back to what I know from the original X-Men. Apocalypse story is that I think Rogue was the one that was able to defeat him because she could steal his power.
She drained his power from him, I think.
Yes.
And it's weird that
I wonder if that's still the time, the what actually happened, but the timeline since it's shifted.
That's an interesting thought. I mean, they don't even have that character in here yet. Now, I suppose they're kind of assuming that she's going to come along later. I like that they almost... they had a Wolverine kind of like cameo in there. Like he is in the movie. He is in Hugh Jackman. I loved the gear they had on him because when they pulled him out of that, when they released him out of that like cage, he comes out and he's got the big headgear. He's got the VR gear, as you were saying.
There's gonna be memes.
He's got this like thing all strapped to him. But like if you see pictures from the comic books, that's literally like what the gear looked like when he came out of the Weapon X program. Is like they had stuff on him monitoring him and shit like that, and it looked almost like picture perfect, which I thought was really cool.
Which I find that with this movie is they're doing that with all the characters now, because later in the end credits you see their new costumes. It seems like
that was so good.
It seems like they're being more towards the comic books than they've ever been. Because with X-Men movies, it's kind of like, they have a black and yellow suit. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And like that was the thing. There's always been the jokes where like, oh, what are we all gonna get? Yellow unitards or something like that, like kind of things. Mm-hmm. Like whereas like by the end of that, no, that's jumping really far ahead. But by the end of the film, like when they show the crew rolling up and like they've got all of those costumes on, they looked spectacular. Oh my god, like
they were very good,
and they
costumes.
had it wasn't exactly the costumes from the comic books, but they had the exact same color schemes. Some of them were almost like perfect, like you said, like Scott's is almost perfect. Like Mystique had like the white
stripe on
and
her blue uniform.
Yeah, and the white blue and the blue. Like it was great.
Nightcrawler had his red and black suit.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool.
Now Nightcrawler, maybe we should start off with him. He's a new introduction.
Well, start off, you say, but like we're already into it. I liked Nightcrawler. I didn't understand why they turned him into a little like emo kid. Yeah, like that was an interesting
to appeal to the RAR kids. I
guess I don't know, but like nonetheless, I still dug the character. He did a good job. Like I mean, they showed him.
He growed on me. Yeah.
Yeah. He growed. He growed on you.
He growed it on me.
Yeah, no,
he
grew on me too. He grew on me too, for sure. Like, and they did stick true to the character. I mean, they did point out the fact that he was in the Munich circus. They pointed out the fact that he's like when he's sitting there and he's like when he's getting stressed out, he's sitting there praying and like stuff like that, which is very to the character from the comic books.
Now, Mystique's supposed to be his mom.
In a certain timeline, Mystique was his mother, I believe. The one thing that I think that they're going to take away from this one is that Azrael is his father. Because Azrael was in First Class. He was the demon that was teleporting people around. So, I mean, you can assume that that's his son. I would assume that it's not Mystique that's his mother, mostly because...
She never gave no emotional indication to that fact.
Yeah, exactly. Unless she's a really good actor. That doesn't make sense. Like I said, like it makes sense that Azrael could be his father, but it doesn't make sense that Mystique could be his mother. I like the character. I loved watching. I mean, Nightcrawler's always been one of my favorite characters because I just love the way they show him like just popping around and like leaving the clouds of smoke behind him.
Now imagine
that
as Deadpool in the next movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be interesting if they do throw that in with Deadpool. If they give him the teleporting belt, that'd be so fucking sweet. I will say again, Quicksilver once again stole the show.
You know what? I think
same as he did in Days of Future Past.
He's stolen every scene from every superhero movie that's coming out, like
that scene
ever.
Where the mansion is exploding and he shows up and he's just saving lives and he's fucking doing it's so funny though. Like it's just like that scene in the kitchen in the last movie where he's running around. And like I love that they did the same kind of thing where they threw on the music and like he's just like all right, like and he's just boogieing around like pulling people out and like
moving bullets and shrapnel.
moving shrapnel and stuff. And then like that scene where he grabs that bowl, scoops up some water and then scoops up the fish, puts it in the girl's hand, and then like zooms her out of the house.
Just starts like, throwing people out the window too.
Yeah, like and that was great. Like that was so good. Like and You kind of wonder, like, if you wonder when you're going to see this movie, like, are they going to up that scene from they did. I thought that movie, like, that scene was at least on par, if not better, than the scene from Days of Future Past, where, like, he's running around in slow motion and stuff. And
it makes me want a Solo movie.
And that's the funny thing, yeah.
The fight scene at the end, Quicksilver takes on Apocalypse and decides he's going to kick his ass.
Yeah.
It just slows down time and starts punching him through the air.
Yeah.
That when I saw that, I'm like, we need a movie. We need a Quicksilver movie.
Yeah, we do. That character is such a fun character, and I think like Fox really nailed it with that character. Whereas I didn't like the one from Avengers as much. And
he fit the role, but he was not this Quicksilver.
No, he wasn't as good as this Quicksilver. That's a definite thing. We were talking about Scarlet Witch, which they haven't shown yet, and you were wondering if that little girl was going to be
her.
No, because Peter Maximoff did mention that he had a sister in the last movie. They just didn't show her yet.
Oh, so she'll reach maturity and she'll
eventually, because they showed. I think they either showed her in the movie or they alluded to the fact that he had a little sister.
Yeah, they're like, go get your sister this or something.
Yeah, exactly. And like she was a little girl.
Which they say this is 10 years later, so I'm guessing he ages quickly and then he doesn't, because he was a twin with her, was he not? Did they say that?
Oh yeah, the Maximoffs were supposed to be twins. That's a good point. I don't know. This movie,
and he aged faster, so I don't know.
Who knows with this one? Who knows with this one, right? I mean, we'll see what they do with this one. I'm not sure if they are ever going to bring Scarlet Witch in, just because she's become such a big character in Avengers. Much like they kind of got rid of Quicksilver in the other one, not because of it, but like they're not going to bring.
Maybe it was kind of a trade-off in a sense of like marketing. Like you get Scarlet, we get Quicksilver.
Yeah, who knows how they took care of that? Like, right. But he's just such a good character. Like, he's just such an interesting, funny character. And I'm glad that they brought him back and they really gave him more time on screen and stuff, like to shine in this movie.
Who I thought didn't shine was Storm.
Storm
was cheesy as fuck.
Storm was all right, but I mean, I thought my problem with Storm actually was that they didn't give her enough background.
And her accent, like, I couldn't...
No, I felt the accent was all right. Like, she sounded like she was African. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
but I didn't like it.
No? Okay.
In a personal opinion, I don't know. It was weird. I felt like from the beginning of the movie, she just kind of seemed out of place.
Okay.
Where Halle Berry, when she plays Storm, was
fantastic.
Fantastic.
That is true. It is hard to follow up someone like Halle Berry. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big... I thought she looked the part perfect, though. Like, when you see Storm with the mohawk and stuff like that, like old Storm, like that is like she fit that like look perfectly, in my opinion.
I just don't know. I don't know if maybe she was just not the right actor for me or what, but that's my only gripe, and it's not a big deal because you're right. She fits the role reasonably. That it's not an issue. Yeah.
Then she's really not that big a character in this. She's the first one that Apocalypse finds, but like
now Olivia Munn as Cyclops actually was
Psylocke
or.
Yeah, it was Psylocke.
Bike Lock. I don't know.
Bike Lock.
Bike Lock. She was good.
Yeah, she was actually.
She was actually. I was like, she can't act because she. If you don't know who Olivia Munn is, she was on Attack of the Show on. She was on G4,
Network. Yeah, Tech TV. Yeah,
she was like just a host. So
and she's done a lot of stuff since then. But like, I don't know how much acting. Like
I know she played a waitress for like 2 seconds in a Steve Carell movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
but she's done mostly mostly hosting stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, like she was actually really good in that movie, and like the villain, like she was pretty cool as a villain and stuff like that. I mean, as much as like I said, other than Magneto, the other Horsemen were kind of like in the background, other than maybe Archangel, because like they kind of showed more of him, and I liked his character and stuff like that.
Underused.
Severely underused.
It didn't make sense for him to be the one they picked. I still don't get that. Like, his 4 most powerful people he picks these idiots, like...
Yeah, and he had to give everyone mohawks. Well,
the only one that made sense was Magneto. Like,
Magneto is definitely a good choice. And I mean, I think I want to talk about that next. I loved the story for Magneto in this movie. It was so good. Like, the whole point where they're like, oh, Magneto, like, they show Magneto, he's working a straight job, he's got a family now, like, he's trying... Like, you can see that the character has come at least further in this storyline, that he's trying Charles's, like, you know, path. He's trying to live with the humans. He's trying to be peaceful. He even has... I don't even think... Was his wife a mutant?
I don't think she was.
I don't think she was either. Now, he said... I don't... Like, it's like... They probably would have shown her powers if she was one, but I mean,
all he said in the beginning was that I told you about my life, and you.
Yeah, that's true. I told you who I was right away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now his daughter was a mutant, obviously. Now I wonder
birds or something.
I wonder if she could control wildlife. I think and like animals because she was controlling that deer at the start. Remember, like they showed it like kind of sipping from the bird fountain with her and stuff like that.
She was a Disney princess.
I was gonna say she's literally a Disney princess. But yeah, like her, I wonder. I'll have to look that up later. I'll wiki that later and see if she was an actual character in the comic books. Like if there's a character that could like control animals telepathically or something like that.
If she comes back or something. I don't know.
I don't think she's coming back.
I like how that cop got a 2-for-1 by accident. Like, how do you cock an arrow back?
Okay, that was one of the kind of plot holy things that I thought was kind of dumb. Was like that scene where they're like, oh, like why aren't you wearing your badges and like no medal kind of thing, like because they knew who he was, but they've got are bows on them. So you're telling me that bow and arrow with no metal tip pierced 2 human beings, and that guy didn't even mean to shoot it. He was just holding it and like kind of like accidentally let it go, like that scene. Like, he didn't have all that much, like, he wasn't, like, drawing it back as far as he could, kind of shooting it. He literally accidentally shot it, and it pierced through 2 people.
The other thing
what the fuck? What are these wooden arrows?
See, and if I was Magneto, and I knew I had the power of controlling metal, and I had the worry that people would come to my house to find me, I would place metal all around my property.
Or carry a pocket full of change on you at all times.
That's what I mean. Like, he doesn't have, like, $5 on him to fucking deflect an arrow. He could have.
He's got one of those, those things you put coins in, you can like click
pop,
out.
Pop.
He just pops like 4 quarters in his hand. He's like, yeah.
But that would be his son if he had Magnet.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, he did have the necklace, and like he used that. That was pretty cool. But he just like slit all their throats. Like that was cool. But what I want to get on next is like when Apocalypse like unlocks the rest of his power and he starts like pulling metal from the earth and stuff like that. Like. That is the kind of stuff that I always loved about Magneto in the comic books, is that Magneto always has, like, fucking next level powers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when in the comic books, like, he eventually learns how to, like, control, I think it's, like, the electromagnetism between, like, molecules or something. Like, this is, like, way, like, down the line. But, like, he eventually gets to the point where he can control pretty much matter and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't even have to be metal, because he can control the magnetism between molecules. Like, that's how fucking strong he is. Or... when that, what was it? One of the only times that Wolverine dies, other than like the official death of Wolverine in the comic books, was that Magneto ripped his entire skeleton out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of shit that I always like think of when I think of Magneto, because he's like such a like crazy character. Then I always feel like Magneto always has great motivation. They never make a bad Magneto storyline, because Magneto
he's like always, an anti-villain in a sense.
He almost is, and like that's kind of the thing that I've always liked about Magneto the most. Is like even when Magneto's the bad guy, he's, what do they say? There's that saying like, to make a good villain, you make the villain the good guy in his own story. Mm-hmm. And that's what Magneto always is to me. He's always the one
he's working for the mutants.
He's fighting for his people. He's fighting for mutants, or in this case, he's like, I mean, he's kind of fighting for his family / like mutants. Like,
he's getting revenge.
Yeah, in this one it's kind of revenge. But like, I do like the fact that like, I mean, shit, like Wolverine basically does the same thing half the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that like, yeah, like he's that character to me that like always seems like such a well written character. And this movie continued it on. Like, I just felt like it continues, like, because he's always on that struggle between like, good and evil. But like, he really is just trying to be good to his own people. He just doesn't care.
He just felt like he had nothing left, and that's why he's like, well, this is my new family now. Yeah. But then Mystique shows up and everything like that.
Yeah.
You got me on a good point there, where you were saying continues on the story, in the sense that it almost feels they're at a point now that the next X-Men movie can get a new start, but still be a sequel.
Yes, you're very right. They could basically start making X-Men films that are basically just like
new plots,
like, yeah, like just like, and like, I mean, that's basically what they've been doing. But like, you're right, like they basically could jump off from this point and be like, okay, how that movie ended, that's the new X-Men team. Or have like the other characters kind of age a little bit and then jump in and be like, okay, here's your new X-Men, and let's do some new storylines.
Because McAvoy's Xavier is pretty on par.
He is really good. He is,
especially with the hair gone.
Yeah, he actually did look pretty decent, like with the bald head.
No bias.
None whatsoever. I know what you're talking about. No, but yeah, like I mean, he didn't look like he looked like Charles Xavier, you know what I mean? But like a younger version of him, because like I think Patrick Stewart really did like nail that character. That's the one thing. Like, if you could take anything from the other movies, which they kind of did when they did Days of Future Past, it's like Xavier, Magneto, like those two older versions, like Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Those are old versions of those characters. Like they are those characters, and like the fact that Wolverine was in it, like he is that character. You know what I mean?
I want to get a confirmation on this, but it almost seems like all these stories happening in the newer movies is like the timeline's been sped up. I feel like Apocalypse has come early in this movie.
Yeah, that is like kind of the feeling that you get. It's almost one of those things where like in the other movies they were taking place in the present, which was kind of in like the 90s to 2000s kind of thing. Whereas like after the events of First Class and then especially Days of Future Past was in the 70s, and then like this one takes place in the 80s. I did like all the nods, like all their clothing looked so 80s. Yep. Like the Ray-Bans. The Ray-Bans, like the hair that Havoc had, very 80s. Like even like Jubilee, like even like her like look and stuff like that, like they all looked super like what's his name's red jacket.
Yeah, the Thriller jacket.
Yeah, like he had like basically like a Thriller jacket on. He had an Eddie Murphy what's that called? You know which one I'm talking about, the stand-up thing that Eddie Murphy did, and he's wearing the red jumps, like the red leather. Yeah, like he looked like that. Like it was so good. The thing that like I guess I don't know, like do you think they will make more movies? I think they will, but like I think they haven't really talked about it.
I feel like
they're doing Wolverine for sure, but then they said he's going to be done.
That's what's got me thinking, is that Wolverine's story is going to come next, and it's going to finish his story off early with this new timeline. And then they'll do an X-Men movie where he's not involved.
Yeah, maybe.
And the actors have aged a bit, because they're kind of the perfect cast now for a new X-Men movie. They just need a little bit. They're really young.
The other thing I was going to say before that I forgot about that I liked was like when he is about to run away and he meets Jean for the first time, and she like takes the gear off, the VR headset off of him, and says, "No more Oculus." She kind of like taps into his head and like gives him a little bit of she gives him his name back, and she gives him some of his memories. I kind of like the nod to that being maybe the beginning of like
his origin.
Well, not his origin, but like it is, but like his relationship with her, and like
he doesn't understand why he likes her, and he just kind of.
Well, and that's the thing, because like you understand, like when they go back to the future, the fixed timeline future in Days of Future Past, Jean is still alive, and she is still there, and she still knows him, which is interesting because it implies that like all this stuff that's happening now is part of that timeline, and like I said, like he's still in love with Jean in the future, so like it's almost one of those kind of interesting things to think about, the fact that like part of that is rooted in the fact that she saved him, and he remembers that on a certain level. Like he maybe doesn't remember it because he was so wild and fucked up. Yeah. And like that was just when he was getting his memories back, but like I like that though, you know what I mean? It plants the seed, and that goes forward in the storyline.
Now with the scene when they find him and he's in the cage and he's growling and stuff, and you don't know it's Wolverine yet, I was so hoping, like I just saw it in my head where it's like there's like a wild beast in there. It sounds like an animal. They open the door and it's like Deadpool trying to put his pants on. He's like, "You guys are here!"
Like, man, if that happened, like there's so many cases where they could throw Deadpool in and it could be perfect, and then just like totally stop the show, like totally be a show-stopping moment. I was with you on that one. It'd be like so like they're like there's like growling sounds coming. There's like, "Oh, what is that?" It's an animal. No, it's a man. And then it's just like Deadpool, and he's like, "Oh, fucking pants!" Like,
"I heard you guys coming. We gotta go."
I do love that Marvel, or not Marvel, I guess this is Fox, right? But Fox always uses that rule. I don't know if you knew this. There's a rule for in a movie that has a PG-13 rating, you can have one F-bomb. And they always use that one F-bomb. Because, like, you know, Days of Future Past has that... Or not Days of Future Past. The First Class movie has that scene where they meet Wolverine and he's like, "Fuck off." And then, like, even in this one, when Magneto's about to kill all those, like...
who the fuck are you?
Yeah, those workshop workers, and he's yeah, the Apocalypse just kind of like portals in. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And like, it's just one of those moments where you're just like, yes. Like it's just funny because you don't see it coming and they just drop it and it's just perfect. Like the writers nail those. That's so funny.
So that's why it'd be nice to have Deadpool, because it'd be nice if all the actors are like stealing the F word from him every movie.
Yeah.
So they're like, he's like, "Will you?" And he gets cut off like the whole movie, and then one actor would be like, "For fuck's sakes!" Then he's like, "Damn it! Like you took my word!
Damn it, Jackman!" That's the other thing too, is I really want him to refer to people as their
actor's name,
the acting name, like their actor's name's not their character name.
My name's McAvoy. Who's McAvoy?
Yeah. My name's James McAvoy.
I'm a bonehead.
Oh man, that'd be so great. Who else? Anyone else you want to talk about? I mean, did you like the whole Phoenix thing? Did you like that they brought that in?
Yes. I thought that was great. And he kind of, when Apocalypse gets killed, he kind of nods. He's like, "It has been spoken," or something like. Or
he said like, yeah.
He almost nods that she's the next him.
Yeah,
that's what you get a feeling.
Yeah, you kind of get that feeling, and I did see that because I can't remember the exact wording he uses, but he says something along the lines of it being like, yeah, like this is like he can see that she is the next step or something like that, because she's like the Phoenix has always been that kind of
strongest character.
Yeah, that strong the strongest character in the comics and stuff like that. So I mean, it's an interesting thought. Like I said, I wonder if they're going to retouch on the whole Phoenix thing later on down the road, if that's going to become a problem.
Well, maybe
if they actually do Phoenix right this time and like take it into space and stuff like that, because like I mean that was the original storyline, right? Like the Phoenix Force goes into space and like they go following after to save Jean and stuff like that. Then they can come across those like fucking aliens and like go into that like whole like what was it, the galactic battle and the dude with the thing in his stomach, the brain in the stomach.
He's got a weird name like Malak or something.
Yeah, or something like that. But like, yeah, like that could be an interesting storyline. Like that's what they could literally take.
Guy with the face for the stomach. The actor I want to play that is the one that recruited Deadpool in the movie.
Oh yeah.
He's got that weird face.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But altogether, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm probably more happy coming out of this movie than I was with Civil War.
And yeah, that's kind of the way I said to you when we were like kind of walking back. I was like, yeah, like I loved Civil War. Like I thought Civil War was a great movie, but I walked out of this movie more hyped than I did out of Civil War, mostly just because like I just felt like there was so many more like moments that really caught me, and like I don't know why that is. Like I really can't put my finger on why that is, but I walked out of this movie feeling more like juiced about.
I feel like there's more continuity too, because when I left Civil War, I felt like that middle fight scene was kind of placed there. The first scene was there. It felt like a three-parter that was shoved together in a sense, where this X-Men movie just felt like one solid, flowing movie.
And one continuous flowing thing. Yeah, like, that's a good point. I'm interested to see why, like, it's always interesting to me. I don't know if it's just because it's, what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, but, like, I don't know why they're so hell-bent on making her a good guy. You know what I mean?
Probably because it'll make it worse when she's no longer good.
Maybe. That's the whole kind of thing, like, she's not really a good guy in like comic books ever. Like she works with them sometimes, but like she's not really a good guy. She's always been like a villain.
Well, so, they're building that love relationship with her and Magneto, right? Through this movie, it'd be interesting to see like something causes her to fall back in love with him and follow his every move.
Who knows? I mean, and like that's the thing is I like Jennifer Lawrence. She plays a good character, I guess. I don't know. I'm
not fond of her as Mystique, but
I think she does. Mystique. I don't hate her as Mystique, but I don't think she really nails Mystique in my vision.
She's not like the one and only actor that can play her.
Yeah, exactly.
Which Michael Fassbender, I gotta say, I'm solid.
Is so good as Magneto. Yeah,
same with McAvoy. I feel like McAvoy is probably your best option for Xavier.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. I
feel like I want the Colossus from the Deadpool movie in this one.
In this one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because like with the mansion getting destroyed and they rebuild it and it looks totally different from what I remember, which is interesting because like they show the mansion in Deadpool and it looks like the old mansion. So like it's interesting that they decided to destroy that and kind of like rebuild it and everything, right? Although I guess that kind of breaks the timeline, eh? Because this happened in the 80s. Deadpool takes place in the present
day.
Yeah,
we'll find out. Only 4 more movies to go.
Yeah, only a few more movies or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything else?
Oh, yeah, we're moving. So this will be the last podcast in this current setup.
Oh, yeah.
That's why everything's missing and like the camera's kind of wonky.
No, it's not. It's perfectly fine.
We'll be moving into a dungy old basement, and we'll have dark lights. It'll look like a dungeon.
It's going to be the best basement ever.
Best basement ever.
Were you doing the Sleep Country Canada? Were you doing
Why
that?
buy a mattress anywhere else? Because it's cheaper.
Because they're cheaper. Yeah. No, I guess you're right. This is the last time on this set.
We kind of ran off. Like, how did we get to this point?
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
We've been on this set since October.
Is that when we started?
November. December. January, February,
Look
March,
at you doing
April,
months and
May,
stuff. He's come
June,
so far.
9 months.
I'm recording in here, eh? In this spare bedroom, and now we're moving into a basement. I mean, we're getting a real live set. Yeah.
With green, I want green screen. We might look into it.
We're not doing green screen.
We're doing green screen. And I'll never tell you when.
If you're wondering why we're wearing TMNT goggles, don't ask, because we won't tell.
It's because I'm a mutant, a teenage mutant.
Because we went and saw a movie about
X-Men,
mutants,
a teenage mutant.
So we had to buy
X-Men.
these. These were totally necessary to watch the movie because we went and saw a movie about mutants and not a shitty
We're
one.
also super tired, so that's kind of why the flow is kind of more mellow today. Oh yeah. I left a rank.
Also don't fit very well at all.
I dropped a bomb and it's rank.
Oh great, that's awesome.
We're all sweaty and this bomb is rank.
I am sweaty.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Mom spaghetti. Is there anything else you want to touch on with X-Men? Because I feel like we kind of touched on everything that
I just want to tell you it's great. Go see it.
Yeah, definitely go see this movie. This movie is, once again, like I said, up there being one of the best.
It's a very pleasing
one of the best X-Men movies.
It's been a good year for comic book movies.
It has been a great year for comic book movies, in my opinion.
Let's hope Suicide Squad keeps with that.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange. That's going to be another one. Yeah, those movies look like they're going to be fucking great, so...
Should I take this off? Let's see if I have indentations on my face. Because I've worn these probably for 5-6 hours now.
It's been a while. Oh my god. You're so sweaty.
Knees weak, arms... Okay, go stop.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Say goodbye to the set. Bye, set.
We'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next week, and keep your eye out this weekend. Maybe Borden might put up a little bit of a...
I might put up a video of me moving in. Something stupid.
Who knows?
Not to mention, it's going to be funny if we move into our new set and it looks identical to this one.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or we should just break back in here next week and record and just move the person's shit out and move our shit in and just be like, sorry, we're recording.
This sounds like one of my plans.
Person's like, what the fuck are you doing in my house?
We're filming a podcast.
We're filming a podcast, bitch. Get out.
Bitch, get out.
All right, guys.
Get out.
Get out.
We'll get out.
They're kicking us out right now. I hear your landlord coming to kick us out right now. You haven't paid rent.
No, Borden, you haven't paid rent in 12 months.
12 months? Man, he is lenient as fuck. All right, guys. See you next week.